Hey guys, today we start off the day at the yard where Sienna will be built. We have to do some welding and I rather do this outside here in the yard because I have a flux core welder. I've got another welder as well, but I want to use this for the bracket for the hoist of the CNC. Let's get everything prepared and weld this thing together. Okay, when I was saying let's start the day, I meant you will start the day right now. But my day actually already started way much earlier in the morning because I did some designing in PepHead. You don't know PepHead? It's the same as CAD, but CAD is computer aided design and PepHead is pen and paper aided design. So let's have a look. And if you're wondering that you're not only hearing my voice, but also seeing it with some fog coming out of my mouth, it's around freezing point where I am right now. So yeah. So what I'll be trying to build today is this here. And that is the bracket to hoist the CNC afterwards. And it will be made out of 7mm steel. And this is the top view. This is the side view, more or less. So here is the bracket coming out. Here the hook will come in. And then it's screwed from both from the top and from the side or from the front, more or less. And here we have the bottom view. The whole contraption will look like something like this. So this is the plate where the CNC will be resting on. Here we'll have some casters to level the CNC when it's on the floor, because the floor in the garage is not level at all. Then some wheels. And here is this hook, which we spoke about, to hang the CNC afterwards. So enough talking and enough designing on paper. Let's get this hands dirty. So this here is some scrap metal. I've got a lot of it, but it's all very small. But I think this will work. My welding is far from great. That's why a project like this is also much needed practice. What works against me here is that the generator doesn't seem to be able to keep up. Look and listen to this. The floating RPMs of the generator trying to deliver the power needed translates in an inconsistent heat input, which makes it harder to get a consistent weld. Important is good penetration. Both parts and the filler should be properly melted together. Everything else can be cleaned with a lot of grinding. Now it's time to pre-drill all the holes for the bolts. In the second step, I enlarge the holes to accommodate 8mm bolts and then do some deburring with a chamfer bit. And since I'm here, I'm ripping some plywood for the CNC base I'm building. So that was the 24th of January. I didn't get as much done as I would have liked, but that's how it is. I also went to the hardware store to get some MDF for my spoil board and landed in 2 traffic jams. So yeah, let's move on today, the 25th of January. Okay guys, so now we're back in the workshop and I want to start working on the CNC base, which can be lifted and which can be rolled around and can be leveled out. So it has a few functions and it needs to be kind of rigid. So I first will have to take some measurements and then we can start. Here's the pep head which will be used. So the actual only measurement I need for now is the size between the beams, the C-beams, because the size of this plate, I will use this one because it's very sturdy. The size of this plate is given, it's 125, and I need to cut it exactly at where the beams stop, because the bearing blocks protrude a little bit underneath it. So let's get this measurement and then I'll need to fetch my friend to help me get this thing off the bench. So it's 140.2. When we add the 40mm of each beam, that's 148.2. Let's write that down. 148.2. That's in centimeters. And the rest is just getting started. So with the help of my friend, we put the CNC like this, so it can work on the underside. This is the underside. These beams will go away and the C-beams will be directly mounted onto the base plate. The geometry of the base plate is correct. I just need to cut a piece off, and as soon as this is bolted down to this plate, it will not move anymore and the geometry will stay as it needs to be. So let's get rid of these and move from there. So if you guys are wondering how we will mount this frame to the base plate, well, this is a V-slot profile. And in this V-slot profile, an M5 bolt, a normal hex M5 bolt, very nicely and snugly fits into this groove. So we can put these in through the base plate, not on the bottom, pull it and it will be fixed. And for the other side, we will just use these angle brackets. So we have some more leverage there. Put it on here, put a bolt through or just a normal screw, and then this thing will never move. Well, I don't have a track saw and I need to make a very straight cut afterwards. But what I do have is a hand circular saw. So I'm making this jig to have a guide to make a very straight cut. Okay, since the wood glue is bad, we'll use spray glue. And now we've got a perfect straight edge, which we can reference to. 148.2. So the first pass wasn't perfect, the second pass is. So I just test fitted the plate on the machine and it seems that all the holes are working out perfectly. So let's move on to building some structure under this. So guys, this is where we're at the end of this weekend. I still have to make the video, so we stop right here. Now, it could be frustrating to not have finished this. Actually, before, when I was working on the shark and doing my other YouTube videos, I was always frustrated when I couldn't finish a job and make a finished video. But now I care about being here and care about consistency. So it matters if I spend the time, and it doesn't matter how far the progress is. Sometimes I will get further, sometimes I have to stop at a job. Now it's Sunday evening, I need to make the video still and have some time with the family. I cannot wait to start on the Setka project. But I think it's very important in a long-term project like this to finish all the stages, all the jobs you have to do. Because otherwise, in the end, you will have a bunch of jobs which are not finished instead of a finished boat. So that's how we do it. I move on till this is finished and then I can start on the Setka. So I hope you have some patience with me and still enjoy what we're doing right here. See you next week. Bye.